University Cities, fall at the Arboretum, and Halloween activities. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. Roberts, and this is Lexington Now. Lexington played host to the University Cities Conference this past week, and a part of the conference was a panel featuring Mayor Jim Gray and several other mayors of university cities. So what is a university city? It's a city that's outgrown its college town status and has created dynamic economies around major universities in their urban cores. Here's more.
Many of you may know this, but some of you may not, who are Lexingtonians or visitors. We were settled 242 years ago in 1775, 1 year before the Declaration of Independence itself was signed. Fast forward to 1830s or so. Henry Clay was then senator from Kentucky. He was later Secretary of State in the Adams administration, earlier in the Adams administration actually. So in 1832, Clay and the then mayor and a prominent merchant in town, Benjamin Gratz, they raised $1 million to build a railroad from Lexington to Maysville on the Ohio River, Kentucky. They didn't do this for cosmetics. They did it to stay competitive. Louisville at that time and other river cities were using riverboats, and trade was occurring on the river. So the railroad emerged, and this was Lexington's opportunity to stay competitive. The President Capilouto, mentioned that in the 1860s, I believe 1865 to be exact, the University of Kentucky was established. So the city and the university have been working together for a very long time.
When I was born, Fort Collins was 20,000 people. And the university was roughly about 5,000. Now it's 167,000 people and 35,000. So as was pointed out in the earlier presentation, Fort Collins has had steady growth over that time. And it's a wonderful place in so many ways. And for me today, I just want to share some of those things that tell you about literally my hometown. My hometown where I'm fortunate to raise my family and have my kids, but also I was able to grow up and to see the kinds of things and the decisions that were made when I was growing up. And one of the things that this personal story brings is kind of this long-term view of the legacy that we're building upon, looking towards the future of our communities together. And I think that's so important to, I think, university cities, because this quote that's been put up already, we're in our 147th year of this journey to a great city. And so how are we leveraging that in a way that even makes our city an even greater place? So I talked about the steady growth and the natural beauty's been pointed out, and some of the decisions that were made, by legacy folks in our community. We have wide streets because they were turning wagons around. So when Fort Collins was founded in 1864, Colorado State University was founded in 1870, and the state of Colorado, the Centennial State, was 1876. So all those things, so from the very beginning, Colorado State University, then it was Colorado Agricultural College, and Fort Collins were literally joined at the hip. And so the industry was as well. And so that's an important aspect, I think, that to understand in the past in your community. And coupling that legacy is an important part. So I mentioned the wide streets and the founding of CSU. It's Fort Collins. It was never actually a fort. It was a camp along the Cashlacuta River, and then we were close to the Overland Trail. And so that's part of the, and there was French fur traders, but also a lot of influence from Spain and Mexico as well. So you see a lot of those influences in our area.
Our university town, of course, as has been mentioned, is also the capital of Nebraska, a city that's celebrating its 150th anniversary this year. In fact, our downtown is physically defined by state government on the south edge and the University of Nebraska main campus on the north side of the downtown. Between the two was built Centennial Mall on our 100th anniversary, which runs for 7 blocks through downtown from the state capitol to the edge of campus. As a former state lawmaker, I think I can say with some authority that Nebraska from time to time likes to do things a little differently. Our iconic Capitol building is one of only 2 in Nebraska that's done in an architecturally tower form by a fellow named Burton Goodrow out of New York City, and is truly a world-class Capitol building. Inside that building, you will find only one governing body, our nonpartisan, unicameral legislature that you all learned about when you were in 4th grade and forgot about by 5th grade, right? But we're very proud of that system, and we think it works. Nebraska is also, economically, more importantly perhaps, exclusively a public power state. Our city-owned electrical utility is currently boasting that Lincoln is back-to-back champion in the Big Ten power rankings with the lowest average bill of all the cities in our conference. The unicameral legislature, public power, is the heritage of a guy named George Norris, who was an outstanding United States Senator in the early 20th century.
For more information about all of the university cities, you can visit the organizers' webpage. It's www.universitycities.org. And coming up after the break, fall is finally here. We'll tell you what's in store at the Arboretum.
We have more miles of running water than any state in the continental U.S. You may not know it, but all our streams catch water directly from storm sewers on our streets. When someone tosses a cigarette butt on Main, it could end up in Town Branch. Don't trash the bluegrass.
Lexington Parks and Recreation is proud to present Freaky Friday Flicks at Moondance Amphitheater. This spooky movie series will feature family-friendly Halloween classics, including Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas, E.T., and the original Ghostbusters. The movies will be every Friday in October at 7:30 p.m. Admission for those 13 and over is $2. Children 12 and under are free. It may be chilly, but you'll be able to warm yourself by campfire, a game of cornhole, and the comfort of fall foods on site. For a complete schedule of movies, please visit our website. So get out and play and celebrate the season with parks. You bring the blankets and your friends. The movies and marshmallows are on us.
Freaky Friday Flicks!
Cigarette butts are Lexington's #1 most littered item. Don't trash the bluegrass.
Welcome back to the show. The UK LFUCG Arboretum has been wowing nature lovers for more than a quarter of a century, and fall is a great time to visit this gym in the heart of Lexington.
We are a public garden which basically means that we're a living museum dedicated to plants. And we started in '91, so we're a fairly young public garden, but it began and still is a partnership between the University of Kentucky and the city of Lexington. And when it first started, it was basically them and a lot of volunteers that kind of got it off the ground. And now it's evolved to have 3 main gardens, which are the Walk Across Kentucky, the Home Demonstration Garden, and the Children's Garden. So the Walk Across Kentucky has a 2-mile loop that goes all around the Arboretum, and it focuses on the different regions of Kentucky. And the Home Demonstration Garden shows what you could do in your home. And the Children's Garden is for kids age 2 to 10, and it's our only admission garden. We have a couple more weeks in the Children's Garden. It closes at the end of October, and so I guess now's your last chance to get in before we close down. And there's lots of stuff to do in the Children's Garden, everything from helping us in the garden to fishing in the pond, watching the model trains. And it's really great for kids to come out and just enjoy nature and connect with nature and have fun. We have a stream that they can wade in if it's warm enough. They can help us plant in the raised beds. There's a log cabin where they can play around and pretend to dress up or make a stew with the sticks and leaves around. So it's just all around good fun, and they are really engaged when they're there, so it really helps parents to kind of let them go at it. One of my favorite things to show kids when they're at the Children's Garden is the cool plants that we have in there. So one that we have is called a popcorn plant, and if you rub the leaves and you smell your fingers or the leaves that you just rubbed, it smells like buttered popcorn, which is pretty cool. And then we also have a sensitive plant. And so if you touch the leaves of the sensitive plant, they actually move, which is pretty unusual for a plant. They think that the leaves do that because it's an insect repellent. So if a bug gets on there, then the leaves would fold and the insect would kind of fall off. So it's a protective mechanism. But kids just like to see it move. It's pretty cool. Memberships for the Children's Garden for the next year go on sale at the beginning of December. And a lot of people buy them as gifts for their grandkids or something like that. So if you're interested in purchasing a membership for the following season, you can contact the visitor center. Something to do with the kids when the Children's Garden closes is we will have our story walk up all year round. So our story walk, it's a series of panels with children's books in it, and you walk from panel to panel to read the entire book. And it's a partnership with the Lexington Public Library and the Jessamine County Public Library. Fall is a great time to come to the Arboretum. There's lots of trees here where you can see some really nice color changes. There's a lot of stuff going to seed, so if you're interested in that part of plants, it's really neat to see that happening. And then it's also a really great time to see birds. You can either see them migrating or a little later in the fall when birds have already migrated. It's a really good time to start to learn to identify birds because there's only a few left. So you can get, narrow it down to just those few. So if you're a beginning birder, it's a really great time to start. But there's a lot of neat bird activity happening out here. And you can even see some of the birds like changing colors for the winter. Probably the coolest bird we have in most people's book is the red-tailed hawk. So we have a hawk that lives around here, and you can see him kind of soaring through the sky a lot of the time, or sometimes you can see him even closer. So he's really neat to see out here. And then otherwise, we have a lot of goldfinches that really like to eat the seeds that come out in the fall. We have a kingbird, but they've probably already migrated. What you'll see kind of late fall is like the birds that stick around. So you might see some nuthatches or some cardinals or some black-capped chickadees, and they tend to form bands and kind of travel around the Arboretum.
With Halloween just a little over 2 weeks away, you're no doubt looking to find fun activities for you and the family to enjoy. Good news, Amber Llewellyn has all the details on what Parks and Rec has in store.
So Parks has a full lineup of fall activities celebrating the Halloween season. We start off with Freaky Friday Flicks at Moondance Amphitheater, and that will be a spooky movie series that'll have family-friendly Halloween classics. We have Hocus Pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas, E.T., and the original Ghostbusters, and they're every Friday in October at 7:30 p.m. And we're going to have a lot of fun pre-show activities. We have campfires and marshmallows and cornhole, so people can come out even though it's chilly. We'll have wonderful fall food vendors who will have coffee and warm things to drink and kettle corn. So We hope everybody will come out and enjoy that event. And then we will also have our Thriller and Halloween parade. Before Thriller goes down the street, we have just a Halloween parade of all kinds of other fun Halloween stuff. And then we now also have the Wicked Wonders Halloween market. So we start at 2 o'clock that day. We have artists and craftspeople who are making things that are spooky or whimsical, in keeping again with the whole spirit of the season. And we have food vendors and entertainment. We have Sora, the aerial contemporary circus artist, musicians that will be performing live, a Halloween playlist. So it's music, theater, dance. That all starts at 2 o'clock. At 6:30 we have the Halloween variety show, which are different performing arts groups from around the city. And then the parade starts at 8 p.m. and Thriller at 8:30. So it's a full day of Halloween fun.
It's going to be another busy week here in the Urban County government, and that means there are plenty of televised meetings for you to catch, including Tuesday's ad hoc committee for the 2018 Goals and Objectives Planning and Public Safety Committee and the council work session. You can watch these meetings live in our other programming right here on Lex TV channel 185, or you can stream them live or find any of our archive meetings at lexingtonky.gov/LexTV. And don't forget, you can always check out some of our archive programming on our YouTube channel. Search for us under Lex TV. Well, that's all for this edition of Lexington Now. Keep up to date with what we're doing all week long on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter at our handle @LexRex. Or you can get a bird's eye view of our live traffic cams on the city's website. It's lexingtonky.gov. For the staff and producers at Lex TV, I'm Sherelle Roberts, and that's it for now.